Hello. This is Monday, July 10th, 2023. In this area of Kentucky, Lexington, the temperature today will be up around 86 degrees. Weather-wise, flooding as storms arrive in the northeast. I know some of my neighbors were talking about rain and flooding in other areas of Kentucky, heading toward northern Kentucky. And today, sunrise will be about 6:23 a.m. and sunset at 9:02 p.m. In this area, the air quality index is good and pollen is high. So my fellow allergy sufferers, don't forget that indoor-outdoor allergy pill. This is a sideshow. I'm Theodore Parker. And if you're watching the sideshow on Facebook and Instagram, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And don't forget WhatsApp, also a Facebook product used for messaging. If you're watching the sideshow on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, the sideshow coffee cup, 11-ounce ceramic, dishwasher safe with the sideshow logo on it. Buy from me for, I'm having some water, $17 plus shipping and handling. Pay me through Cash App, $TR Parker 1, all caps. July 2023. In all fairness, July each year is like a trip down memory lane for me. And as I receive messages, my phone is always saying, "You have a new friend request from," and gives the name. And that's constant, 24/7, which again testifies to the fact that it is an international audience that is involved with the sideshow with Theodore Parker. And then I also thought, just hit me before I came on the air this time, Instagram. You know, I hear about celebrities being involved with Instagram models, and I receive notices. This person follows you, follow them back. And in the upper right-hand corner, there's this little heart-shaped thing, and it has a red dot on it. And when I touch that, it's like all these people that are following me. And then it says follow them back. And I say it with a sense of humor, but when you hear about celebrities being involved with Instagram models, as long as I've been doing this program and the years have gone by, I'm just now getting the perspective, oh, this is what they mean when they say Instagram model. All right, that being said. And the other question from my WhatsApp users, "Oh, you're busy, you haven't been online, and what are you doing? What you been doing?" I said, yes, I have been busy. So, all that being said and put in perspective, memory lane for July. It's usually summer months, and you know, we got all these things going on. Children are out of school for a few months. And those weeks go by, and parents are out with their children, smaller children or whatever. So I'm just reminding you, advising you to be aware of the weather, you know, the heat, the humidity, the mugginess, all those things, you know, tend to play on our temperament. You know, whether we're short-tempered, get that little tone in our voice and have that little attitude check on things that normally we would probably just pass over. We're not giving it a second thought. So you have to be a little more conscious when the heat is up and when the humidity is high. So don't forget to hydrate. And you might want to adjust, to a summer diet more suitable to warmer weather. And the same with your children. You're out shopping, doing whatever it is you're doing. And if they're with you, they're going to see things that they want. And you start doing that mental calculation as to whether it's going to be today or another day that they get what they're asking for. All of those things have to be kind of put in perspective. So, over the past couple of months since I've been in Lexington, I thought about how the two cities compare, but I think one thing is kind of universal about the United States or anywhere. Rush hour. Rush hour USA. So I was thinking a half-mile walk in Radcliffe, not to be putting Radcliffe in a different emotional category, so to speak, than Lexington, but there is a difference. So I had to kind of wade through my thoughts on it. So I'll say it this way. A half-mile walk in Radcliffe, from my door to where I'm going, is a little bit different than a half-mile walk in Lexington from my door to where I'm going. And I say this in this context. I probably will get a person, the chances of a person stopping to give me a ride on my return on that half-mile walk to my door is greater in Radcliffe than it is in Lexington. Usually my half-mile walk in Lexington allows me to walk to where I'm going and walk back. In Radcliffe, there's a percentage that somebody will stop and pick me up and give me a ride to my door in Radcliffe, if you can comprehend what I'm illustrating. So, jobs, money, perspectives. I recently had the experience, I guess, about money. We always have stars in our eyes about celebrities and how much money they have and millions of dollars, and then even on up to the billionaires. But all that is in order to generate or to have generational wealth, it starts with a job. And jobs are age-related and purpose-driven. Somebody, out of high school, for their immediate needs, as long as they are under their parents' roofs, a fast food job is sufficient for them to buy clothes and odds and ends that they do not have to depend on their parents for. And as life takes over, usually romantic interests are developed, and then marriage takes place, children come along, and all these things are motivators to adjust that income. And more importantly, once you acquire these things, not to lose them. So you don't want to be aiming too high, and you don't want to lose the idea that if something were to happen, quote unquote emergency, that would cause you to lose, quote unquote, everything that you have. So as you move through your employment years, and I usually tease and say McDonald's gives you a cup of coffee at senior prices at age 55, someone starting out probably is not even thinking about retirement. But put those 20 years in and you start saying, So when it's hot and muggy and you start complaining about that job and why I got to do this and why don't you get somebody else to do it and maybe I should take the day off, that's the time to put things in perspective. Because usually you're working for a company that in one day generates enough money to pay your salary for 2 weeks. You're taking that 2 weeks salary and putting a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and food in your stomach. And the business that you're working for, is making sure that they're making the proper decisions to keep the number of people employed. So you think about it and you say, your job title, your job description lets you know where you fit in and what you're supposed to be doing. Some people like to delegate, ask so-and-so to do this while you go do that, and so forth and so on. Everything but punching in for you, that's for sure. So you round all these things off and you got your money and you move through. And if you're education orientated, which society has proved, the more education you have, the higher your earning dollar will be, it still goes back to that same thing. You're asked to maintain a 2.0 average in academics. We hear about the 3.0 and the 4.0 and all the other ones that are outstanding, but the average is more close to norm. It's what keeps this country moving, what keeps it on the rails, so to speak. So, talking about generational wealth, those higher ups, their business perspectives and ideas and things of that nature sometimes get called to task once that money gets above the millions into the billions, not only in this country, but outside this country, which allows me to lean back and talk about places like Europe and Africa, South America, wherever else people in this country, the United States, might be doing business. So, you have your perspective. And then as you move along in the workforce, you keep bringing those dollar signs up higher, looking for a job that pays a little bit more so you can do a little bit more and have a little bit more. Used to be a time in this country when people were just saying, well, you got to have a house, a car, and so forth and so on. Nowadays, you can hardly find anybody that doesn't have a cell phone. And it's like, is it a luxury or is it a necessity? Some people are still required to have landlines, but almost everybody has a cell phone. And young people are asking for cell phones before they can even drive sometimes. So I just thought I would throw those things out here, and as we proceed through the rest of the summer, you'll be moving into September. It's a little closer. Facebook, court decisions, money coming down. I figure the contacts are coming up, and those people that are involved in this Facebook lawsuit will be receiving some money. It's just determined about how much. Now, me, from my perspective, on Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, it's never a dull moment, if I may say so myself. So I still have to provide for myself in the meantime, take care of myself, etc., etc. So I take a little time away, but I'm still, as I reassure you, looking at what's going on and keeping in mind that I appreciate your interest. Appreciate you stopping by, dropping in, making comments, and things of this nature. Not only on Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, but on YouTube as well. So I wanted to kind of mention, excuse me again, celebrities. I'm having to acknowledge that maybe my face is recognizable as I move around taking care of my own business and things of this nature. Maybe not on the level of like Vanessa or Shaq or LeBron, but still, I see people reacting. And in that context, kind of give some props out to Vanessa. I think recently, and when I say recently, maybe within the last month or the last several weeks, she opened another basketball court relative to Mambasita Sports Foundation. I forget the exact location, but again, and also in regards to her business acumen and keeping things going in regards to Kobe and Gigi's legacy. And then Shaq. Shaq has been in the news for all the business moves that he made. I happened to see a picture of Marilyn Monroe, and it brought to my mind that Shaq has the rights to Marilyn Monroe and a couple of other celebrities, maybe even Elvis and a few other things, besides just the businesses that we are familiar with, like Papa John's and another sports drink, I think. And that was another thing that Vanessa had to negotiate about an early investment that Kobe had made in a sports drink. And then LeBron and Bronny. I've seen Bronny in the news doing some things on the basketball court. But I also had to take that into perspective, because how many times since you've been watching basketball or been interested in basketball have you seen the possibility even of a father and son playing basketball in the NBA at the same time? But then that brought to mind what one sports commentator has said about in the 75 years that the NBA has been in existence, there's only been 5,100 players that have actually been on the NBA basketball court. So it's one thing to say that you are good, and it's another thing to say that you have 20 years in a sport as an athlete. And that brought me back to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's probably the one person that can say those 75 years, which I think was celebrated last year, has seen it happen. And we talk about Michael Jordan with his 6 rings, but Kareem had 11 championship rings, if memory serves me correctly. Then I thought about the basketball shoe. That was in the days when Converse's, Chuck Taylor's, was probably being used on the court exclusively. And then I remember my own enthusiasm with basketball and the Reebok's indoor outdoors that had the little pump on them, playing outdoor, indoor. And then Spalding's indoor, outdoor basketball. And get that little grip on it. So, 75 years of the NBA, all sports, baseball, whatever your interest might be, volleyball, whatever. So athletes are still working. Those are still jobs. They still pay in the millions of dollars, negotiating a contract which says I will be there on time and ready to work. and agree to keep the whatever the details of the contract are. The same as one of us reporting to wherever we are supposed to be at Monday to Friday or whatever our hour arrangements are, with a job title and a job description. So I just thought I would pass some of that stuff on to you. Monday, July 10th, 2023. And kind of keep the tone and the motivation going. Waiting on September and this court settlement for money from Facebook. Just a little something to put on your mind, give you something to think about, and keep perspective in the heat. That's it. Hashtag